This is actually it's a quick one. I'll make it quick, but it's a good Darth story. So,
all right, go. 3, 2, ladies and gentlemen, today I am brought in part by my good friend Kizzo. How are you doing today, Kizzo?
What's up, man? I'm good, bro. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We have not had Kizzo on this channel for, I want to say, over a year. Has it been a year?
I think it's been about a year, dude. I think that's accurate.
It's been a while, but luckily enough, Kizzo is a little bit of an expert in some of the things we're going to be talking about today. There's a couple things we want to mention. One of which is we were just talking about arena changes are coming up to the game. There is going to be now 500 people in Platinum Arena. There's also a Gold 5, obviously making Gold a little bit easier, spreading it out a little bit more. But one thing I want to ask in particular is you were just looking into this, correct? About arena maybe having a live type of arena coming to the game, potentially maybe. You want to break that down for the people?
Yeah, so basically there's been a lot of information, and we used to hear it, right? We used to hear it in the moderator chat quite a bit. I don't know if you remember that. As content creators, we didn't really put a lot of effort into being moderators, but I would read when they would put documents in there. And, one of the documents that they would put in, I remember at year end in 2019 said that they had met with the board, of the creative developers, which, Darth and I actually knew those guys and would talk to them from time to time as well. So as soon as I read that, I actually went right to that creative developer and I said, hey, is this a real thing? And what we were talking about, or what they were talking about, the document was real-time arena.
Yep.
And at the time, that particular creative developer was like, yeah, we really want to do it. The question is, does the hardware support it? Back then, it was a smaller game. It wasn't the size it is now.
And to be fair, Raid has drastically added on more content to the game since the days we're talking about here in this conversation. Because we're talking about way back in the good old days, boys, when DM was there buying shards by the hundreds, and just wallet warring my way to Dracomorph and not getting him. So it's been a minute, and there's a lot more. By the way, did I tell you how that story went? I chased Dracomorph for $16,000. I obviously quit Raid for like 8 months. I came back, and the first shard I get for free for logging back in has Dracomorph in it.
I think they planned it, bro. I think they really planned that. They had to. That
has to. But that was my conclusion in the video, which is like, This is an olive branch from Plarium. They're like, DM, please, no more 1 stars. Here's a Dracomorph. But yeah, it's been a minute. But there's a lot more content in the game now. But so I didn't actually remember this part at all. So they actually said, yeah, they want to do it.
Yeah, so they actually said it, and it was in the moderator chat. So basically, Cirilla would ask the moderators, like, what's y'all's opinions? What can I bring in front of the creative directors? That was one of the perks of being a moderator, was you kind of got to feel like you had a voice in the game, really. Which was also one of the perks of being a content creator, was you're actually interfacing with Plarium a little bit, and they did a really good job making you feel like they were listening to what you had to say. And they were like. Yeah, no, it took me a while to realize they were already going to do whatever they were going to do, but they would be happy to listen to me talk for 30, 40 minutes and smile and nod like, that's a great idea.
Amen.
That's great. But it took me a while to figure that out. So, but no, they were talking about it back then. And actually it was wild because what you hear Ash say in front of Cirilla, and she nods and agrees with them, is that PvP, actually, I think she says PvP will be the main focus 2022. And Ash very specifically is saying real-time arena live PvP, and she's just kind of saying PvP. So I think that's very normal for Plarium. They don't want to give you all the information until they've announced it. They want their announcements to generate more revenue, right? So if they drop something, they want it to be very intentional, very specific, so that the spending goes up. And then I think they're all trained very well to keep things hush-hush into themselves, but to be very broad. Okay, 2022 is the year of PvP. Well, what's that mean?
I know there was that one leak recently. I forget which one it was. It was something got leaked from the test server, and they were real quick about like, who is it? Find it out. Get them out of here. You know what I mean? They're very much wanting to be hush hush over there. So getting the little leaks of information is hard in this day and age. It can still happen, but it's not easy. You know what I mean? Like they've plugged a lot of the holes in the ship.
Yeah, and I think that, Ash has probably had an inside track for a while, and I think he's done a very good job. Like, I felt as if I had an inside track in 2019, 2020, because I was constantly talking to one of the creative developers.
To be honest, I think we all felt like they were listening to us back in then, right?
Well, it was interesting because the thing I would tell folks is, like, the creative developers that we dealt with were Americans, and they were super cool. And not saying that you can't be cool if you're a
they
part
were
of
pretty
Plarium,
cool.
you're not American, but there's a language barrier, and then there's also, I've worked quite a bit in Europe. The Eastern European, business mentality is very different than a Western business mentality. Things are very black and white. If, you're not going to learn something just because you're buddies with someone over there. That's not the way it works. If you're at a level where you're able to get that information, you can have it. Otherwise, don't ask for it. That's what I've experienced, at least. So the American and the British folks that were part of the creative director team were super cool to talk to. So you sit there and like talk about Real Time Arena and all these plans they had for the game. And honestly, I felt like we all bet on like the main winner after some of those conversations. I was like, this is great. Like they're taking this game in the right direction. But then you come back and have your conversations with, like, back then it was Ranger. I don't know if you remember Ranger.
Oh, I remember Ranger. Yep.
That dude responded to messages like a month after he read them, bro. Like that dude was tough. Like
Ranger
I had
was kind of cool though, because he liked rap. So I talked a bit with him about Ukrainian rap. I mean, the poor coordinators and me. The coordinator. I actually liked literally all of the coordinators. They just all got the unfortunate, job of having to like basically eat all the bad feedback from. You know what I mean? They were the funnel of which the shit ran. So it just was kind of an unfortunate job for them. But I actually, for the most part, thought them as people were all pretty cool. I mean, I talked to him about stuff all the time, just normal stuff, and I thought they were pretty cool.
No, he was cool. I tried pretty hard to get to know Ranger because, he was early on. This is a weird one, and most people probably wouldn't even believe this, but I actually dropped the first the map. What do they call the map? The future content map for Raid.
The roadmap.
Remember that? The roadmap.
Yeah.
I dropped the first roadmap when I had like 2,000 subscribers, if that. I think it got like 700 views. And I remember I asked Ranger one day, like, it was just kind of like a sales thing that
I don't think I even knew this, to be honest. I think I'm learning this right now, like live. I think like, I'm actually like, this is great because I thought I knew all the little ins and outs of all the Raid's history, but this is a bit of Raid's lore I don't know here.
Well, it was weird, dude. So like, it was just a sales thing that I picked up from, I started out in sales and I got into finance, right? And in sales, one of the things I picked up from like a sales course one time was always in the conversation with, hey, is there anything I can do for you? Right. So like, I was like, okay, cool. So I remember I asked Ranger, I said, hey man, is there anything I can do for you before you take off? He goes, actually, as a matter of fact, I was asked to have the content creators release this. Can you drop this news for me? And it was the roadmap. And I was like,
oh my God, you got to just hand it in your lap. Anything I can do for you? Yeah, here's some free content.
And dude, like I remember thinking to myself, like, I need to drop this now and put it everywhere because,
he's about to hand it out to everyone.
Yeah. And it took him like a day or two. So like, I remember I put up the video and like the first 3 comments were like, this is fake. You made this up. Like, why would they ask you with your 2,000 subscribers to make a video about this? And I'm like, I remember like I commented back to both of them. I was like, guys, look, I don't know why they asked me, but it's legit.
I like how you say both of them like it was 2 comments.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know why they wanted me to do this. I'm not going to go through the whole story, but I honestly think it's a real thing because it did come from Plarium. And then like a week later, we were all doing videos on it. At that point, like I went out and bought a camera because I was like, this might actually turn into something. I should start, taking this seriously. And I actually did another video on it with my webcam on. I was like, yeah, guys, I don't know if you remember, but I recorded this on my phone like, a week ago. It was bad, dude.
I remember the good old days when we all had webcams and we were trying to figure out like how to get everything hooked up and we were sharing hardware setups and all that. Like, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you edit this? The old
it's tough, dude. I had a guy ask me the other day, he was like, hey, how do I get started on YouTube? And I went and looked at his channel. His content's actually really good, but he doesn't have a camera. You can tell he's recording on his phone. And it sucks because I kind of wanted to tell him like, well, my rule with myself was buy a webcam at 5,000 subs, but that probably won't work anymore.
It's hard. I feel like it's harder out there than it used to be.
Yeah. Like you got to have something now. Like, and I do feel like I fall back even now, on the fact that I had some good content at some point in time, but you gotta bring, a quality operation. And really, I feel like to have a good YouTube channel and,
ever since, the whole, Roner thing, I feel like kind of everyone's been a lot more either online or looking at how to make money on the side and like stuff like that. And so there's a lot of like more pop-up creators, you know, like people are popping up more. And a lot of these guys are real solid. It's not like a Shother thing. I mean, there's some people that their content's amazing, like right from the get-go, you know? And so there's a lot, especially like in Raid. Like, I mean, when I started, it was literally like me, Brad, you, Stu, and I think Mango 7 was playing it at the time.
Oh,
remember
God,
that guy
yeah.
who does the anime stuff? And and he was even one of the people that was originally supposed to fly to Ukraine with all of us. You remember that? And then when Mango 7 got dropped, Stu got added in, was the actual thing. Because they were like, hey, Mango can't go. Do you have anyone to recommend? I'm like, you got to bring Stu. He's the other fourth guy. They were going to bring him. And that was supposed to be the old OG4. But now there's like, I mean, God, I could use my hands and toes, and I'm going to run out of creators. You know what I mean? There's a billion of us in this day and age, and there's a lot of people pulling good views too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of views to be had in Raid. I'm surprised.
No, I totally agree. It's and you and I talked about it a while back. This is actually it's a quick one. I'll make it quick, but it's a good Darth story. So
all right, go.
I came up with this whole idea I'm mad at Raid. I had one too many conversations with the creative developers where I was like, they're not listening to me. They're screwing up this game. And ultimately, the thing that I really came to terms with was I was struggling to make Twitch content because I felt like I was just sitting there. And I didn't want to just I wanted my Twitch content to be about something like watch me play this game. I'm really good at it. And then let's talk about it afterwards. Like I really wanted it to be like Fortnite with me being a pro player, but there's no way to do that with Raid. So yeah. Like I sat there for a bit and I was actually playing Hearthstone. And I was kind of killing it on Hearthstone. So I should have just done that. But I was like, man, if there were only a game, that like had a RTA or real time arena element to it, that was a gacha game that was adjacent enough for me to jump to, and I could do live real-time arena matches, then I would just go do that. So I found out about Epic 7, which had all that. I went out, spent a ton of money whaling on it, built up my account, got it all like ready to go. And
we've all made that mistake.
Yeah, just overwhelmed on it, put all this effort into gearing out my units and I felt pretty good about it. So I made like 3 or 4 videos. I went to Darth. I said, dude, these videos aren't making any money. And like, I'm not going to say I'm all about the money here, but there needs, compared to Raid, this is horrible. Darth goes, well, what's the CPM? And I'm like, what's that? And he goes, oh, dude. He goes, all right, get on your thing. So Darth walks me through it. And then literally, I'm not going to say exactly what he said because it's YouTube, but he was like, oh, F that game, dude. Its CPM sucks. And I was like,
that's exactly true.
And I sat there for a bit and I was like, does that mean it's not going to make any money? And you're like, that's exactly what it means. And I was like, oh no!
You're right. I remember this. It was like the day that Kizzo learned how YouTube worked was a good day, man. That was a good conversation. I remember that like this happens with every YouTuber where they get monetized, okay, for whatever it is their channel is. I mean, this happened with me back in the day because Star Wars didn't pay a lot of money either, by the way. So like when I was playing Star Wars, Raid was when I realized that some games pay more. Because when I started making Raid videos, I'm like, why is my money like doubling like out of nowhere? These are the exact same views. I'm like, oh, there's a thing called CPM. So then I learned about this. But every one of my friends who like becomes a YouTuber or something, right? After they go full time and they get monetized and all that, they'll realize it's like, oh, my podcast makes $3 every million views. It's like, yep. Welcome to capitalism, baby. You got to pick your shot right.
Oh, dude, it was bad too because I was also thinking at the time like, oh well, I'll do some videos. Like there was a channel out there called Mergers and Inquisitions. It's not a fun channel unless you're an M&A person. And then like even for me, if somebody's like, oh, I need you to do a NOPAT multiple on this potential merger, I'm like, yeah, cool, bro, I got that. And as soon as I go to my office, I'm like, what is a NOPAT multiple on and Mergers and Acquisitions has videos on it. So I was like, I'm watching these videos. I was like, this guy's just real matter of fact. He's excellent at finance, but maybe I could do these videos and like add some personality to it, make them look cool. And then, so I was really pumped up about that too. And then I realized what CPM was and how, probably shouldn't put time into it until I know that it actually, will pay somewhat well, which, yeah, when I actually went in, I did like the Social Blade thing on that guy's YouTube. It made like no money, like $0. So I was like, well, didn't realize. I just thought anybody that made YouTube videos made decent money. I thought that's how it worked, but apparently it's just a
Yeah,
raid thing.
it's weird, man. Because like I've built a few channels, and I have like my motorcycle channel and these other and a lot of those make literally $0. What's interesting is some of these games, like I don't understand. Like I don't understand why the like Awaken Chaos pays like the same as Raid pretty much. Like it, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? That one doesn't. It's not even globally out yet. So what I think it is it must have to do with the audience. Where if it's like the same people who like Raid or the same people who play the game, and for whatever reason that audience is worth more to Google. So it's like people that play Raid for whatever reason, Google must like these people more. Is the only thing like I can come to understand from when I'm reading through how it works, because I know it's a bidding system, and I guess this is all way off topic to be honest, but it's kind of interesting when you look into it. I read about it a lot because it is part of our job when you do it full time, because it's literally how you make enough money to feed yourself. And if you don't know what
yeah,
you're doing, then suddenly your videos will have 100,000 views and make $2, and you have no idea why. So it can be very stressful, but it's not so bad once you figure it out. And streaming for me is the least stressful thing ever, because I just go online, I have fun, I play the games, and you know
yeah,
it's all on to the viewers. You either make money. I make like $50 a month in ads off Twitch. It's not like you make any money off the ads. It's all like, someone subbed to you, thank you. You know,
yeah,
that's it. So
yeah,
it's pretty low stress for me these days, and um,
yeah,
I'm glad to see you making content again. Everyone needs to go subscribe to this guy. He's coming back to making content, and
yeah.
you know we'd love to see him come back to the community full time, please, because you had pretty good content, man. You were one of the like the four big gods. You know what I mean? There's really four big heads back in the day.
No, man, it was fun. Honestly, I was at a point, and we're deep off topic, but hopefully folks will listen or continue to watch or whatever. But I was at a point, man, it was weird. I got an offer professionally that I felt like would really level me up as a person, and it was a gamble. And honestly, I was maybe 45 days into it, and I thought, dude, I did the wrong gamble, because I probably could have went full time on YouTube. I was close. I was really close to going full time on YouTube. Like, I actually quit my job and made a few phone calls and got basically a couple job offers. So I had quit my job because I was frustrated with it, but I knew I had the money on YouTube. To if I doubled down on that, I probably would have been fine. And so that was a tough one.
I remember having some conversations with you about like quality of life versus how much money you want and stuff like that. Like, you'll make less money on YouTube, but you'll do what you love and have more time and stuff like that. For me, it was always brain dead because I came from nothing. So, there wasn't like, it's not like I'm stepping down to do this, it's like, this is the most successful I've ever been. So I'm like, I'm happy as shit because, it's for me, I'm peaking, baby,
Yeah, no, I mean, similar thing with me. I mean, I definitely came from nothing. I just went about it in a very corporate way, and then all of a sudden started making YouTube videos and thought, like, man, this is different. Like, actually, some of these YouTube checks are pretty good. The Twitch checks were actually pretty good, and I was kind of like, man, is this sustainable? And frankly, I was doing it so part time that I really wasn't even, it was sustainable based off of. I would have had to make some changes in quality of life, and basically, what I had around me, which I was open to doing, and my family at the time was open to doing, But it was a really easy thing to kind of think about, but it was different than I'd ever thought to say, oh, well, like, things are going to be different for me, essentially, but I could kind of take that hit and just kind of look at life a little bit differently and be happy with what I'm doing.
It's always the philosophical switch of what it is that matters to you. It's a middle life crisis thing. I don't know about you, but going through my 30s, like I've definitely developed into a different person way more rapidly than I did in like my previous 20 years. You know what I mean? Like the shift for me is pretty dynamic, and it's like people versus things become way more important to you very quickly, I find.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it. It's the value of when we were just saying off camera before we talked about this. Like it's like the more money I make, the less I care about it. And it's I've come to a point where it's like I don't really worry about making as much money anymore. I just do like the streaming and stuff because I really like it. It's like I only make like $900 a month off Twitch, but I put like 160 hours a month into it or something crazy because I just really, really, really enjoy it. It's just a really fun thing to do. And I've come to enjoy that life choice, of following your passion or at least trying to de-stress yourself seems pretty healthy. Yeah, look at this. You got somebody, speaking of Twitch, you get somebody covering your face right now with a random follow.
That's awesome, man.
Speaking of follow, we got to follow Kizzo. Why don't you plug what's going on with you? Because you're coming back. Why don't you go ahead and since this is about a 20-minute video, we'll plug you on the way out the door here.
Yeah. No, I'm come back to YouTube. So follow me on YouTube. It's YouTube and it's Kizzle Inc. KIZZLEINC. I'll be back on Twitch. I would say I'm waiting on a new computer to come in. So what I want to do with Twitch is I definitely want to do like a day or two of raid. But then I've been playing a little bit of the New World. But what I really want to do is get into like some of the the new MMOs that are coming out. So I kind of made that decision, to well, really, it was like a Black Friday deal. So I went ahead and jumped on a good PC deal.
Nice.
So I'm going to try to do Twitch 3 days a week and do 3 videos a week. And for me, that's actually a big time commitment for me. But I think it's definitely doable, and we'll kind of start there and kind of see where it goes.
Well, I'm really excited to have you back. I mean, I know you've been kind of like, here's a video here and there, but it seems like you're kind of like, you're actually back this time, baby. So I'm kind of, I'm excited by that. I'm looking forward to doing videos with you, and, everyone go sub to him, because Kizzo really is like one of the most OG YouTubers for raid. I mean, you might have even made a raid video before me. I don't remember. So,
I'm not sure.
Go sub to the boy, and, love you, man. Good to have you back. And thanks for being on the video. And I'm sure we'll do another one soon enough.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Thank you for having me. So, later, bro.